that's enough of that. Yeah, it's conspiracy theory time. Well, no. A lot of people, when they hear United Nations and Agenda 21, immediately think conspiracy theory, it's not true. Well, I'm afraid they're wrong. And here we have a document that you can go and see, you can download it, you can do what you want with it. It's on the United Nations website. It's an official document, sustainabledevelopment.un.org/content/documents/A agenda21.pdf. And this is Agenda 21 that lots of people are trying to dismiss as a conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's an action plan. And worst of all, it's an action plan that was agreed to, and it involves human depopulation. So there are a lot of people who've made comments about depopulation. I'm not going to read all of this. There's lots of it. If you want it, go read it. I've shown you where to get it. And it's got this really nice, friendly sounding name, International Corporation. Well, that's good, isn't it? To accelerate sustainable development. Well, that's good as well, isn't it? In developing countries and related domestic policies. Well, by international cooperation, we mean that wherever you go in the world, you're not going to have a choice. By sustainable development, we mean putting the individual last. And one of the main things that is not sustainable is the level of human population. So everyone from the Agenda 21 here, which is huge, there's pages and pages and pages of it. Where are we? Let's go to the end. What's the last page number? 351 pages. So no, I'm not going to look through it all in this video. There's far too much of it. I can tell you what's in there, however. There is a plan to move the population, existing population, out of a lot of different areas. Those areas will then be turned over to wildlife. Sounds good. Except they're not going to be available for food production. And this goes back to the World Health Organization, who said a long time ago that they were going to use both food and water as a weapon to control human population. And this has been signed to by lots of different countries. It's been signed up to by the US, by the UK. Yes, there's a plan for Europe, but this document, understandably, does focus on the States. Now here we are. Here is a map. Now, it says here simulated map, but it is taken straight out of Agenda 21. These red areas here, people are not allowed to live in them under Agenda 21. And that includes these corridors between them. So you can see the effect that this has. It isolates groups of people in these green areas by placing these red corridors that will restrict movement because highways aren't allowed. And it splits the people up. Now, huge areas of the country which at the moment are used for agriculture, they're used to produce your food, are also going to be inside these red areas. So no food. You're going to be forced to move. Your houses, your apartment blocks and so on, they're going to be raised to the ground and grass will be sown over the top and forests will be planted. That is the plan, and this cannot work without depopulation. Now, a lot of people panic and spread that panic, and they tend to assume that this is how depopulation will work, that millions of people are going to be killed overnight, perhaps billions. But no, this is not how it works. The way it works is in fact totally different. Now, to start with, let's kind of look at the output figure, if you will. Fertility. Now, here's a graph showing fertility rates for different areas of the world, but you will notice that all areas have got something in common. Human fertility is reducing. Thus, fewer children are born every year. And is this being done dramatically? Well, fairly dramatically. I mean, let's take here, for example, North America. Fertility halved between 1960 and 1975. Let's look at the Middle East and North Africa. Between 1980 and 2005, again, fertility halved. So what's going on? Well, there are additives being placed into the water, such as fluoride, which are known to decrease fertility. There are hormones being fed to cattle and being fed to chickens that are known to have effects on fertility. So the population growth is being controlled in one way, through fertility. Now, healthcare, especially for the elderly, is another way that the population is being reduced by stealth, slowly, a little bit at a time. Now, in the UK and elsewhere, we have this system called the Liverpool Healthcare Pathway. Now, this basically is euthanasia by another name. And this system exists in many different names in many different countries, and it was introduced around about 5 years ago. And hospitals are paid to hit targets for the number of people who die. So if you're old, don't go to hospital, they're likely to kill you off, as part of the depopulation agenda. And this is fact. This is not conspiracy theory. Google these things, look it up for yourself, if you're not too scared to do it. Allergies. Allergies are on the increase. Why is this? I mean, there was a time when a test like this might have shown up 2 or 3 allergies. Now look, this guy is allergic to nearly everything. Now, it's well known that some chemicals increase susceptibility to allergies. They act as an enabler, as a gateway, if you like, to allergies becoming expressed. And these are things like zinc. Well, there's zinc all over the place. Especially zinc dust, and zinc dust is also a carcinogen. Now, in almost any city, if you do a tape test and take some dust off your windowsill and then test it, you'll find there's zinc in it. Now, you might think that allergies are fairly harmless, but how many people a year are actually killed by allergies? It's actually difficult to get those figures because deaths from allergies are not recordable, which is bizarre, isn't it? Now, most people, most medics, they think that asthma, for example, is definitely a disease that's caused by allergies, and it's growing. And in the United States, 9 people a day in 2007, which is the last year we have reliable statistics for, were killed by asthma. Now, we start to panic about things like Ebola, which are dramatic because people vomit, people bleed and all the rest of it, but asthma is a hidden illness that thousands of us are dying from every year, and there are others. And I'll leave you to Google that one. And people are so worried about Ebola at the moment, they forget about the flu and that it's still a deadly disease. And here's the statistics for 2010. Influenza and pneumonia killed 43,296. Gosh, Ebola's only killed 4,000. And so it goes on. Septicemia, which is simply something, a cut or something going septic, that's killed 27,985 that year. Whereas people who got murdered, it's a low 7,863. Diabetes, which many people put off as being, oh, it's not serious, it's controllable, killed 54,250 people that year. And now you can see how the depopulation agenda works. It's just a subtle shift of a few percent. And this is without the other things they're doing, like tampering with food and drink. Now, food prices, as we all know, are going up. In fact, they're going up like a rocket. And food availability is going down. The amount of choice you've got is decreasing. And there's lots of different reasons for this. But you just have to think that some of it is deliberate. And a similar thing is happening with water and drinking water. So there is a depopulation agenda. I think there's no way that people can disagree that a lot of things are being organised around depopulation, but to what economic end? Well, robots are coming into industry in larger and larger numbers, and here's an article from Australia that's predicting that very shortly 5 million jobs will be lost to roboticisation, and at the moment all of half of US employment is at risk of automation. And even jobs like driving jobs that you would traditionally think would never be automated, well, now there are cars and buses and trains that drive themselves, and very soon delivery vans too. So what we're moving towards, with fewer people and more automation and more profits for companies, more taxes for government, is that the governments will pay all citizens a minimum income every month. This is the new economics. So every month, regardless of whether you're working or not, what job you're doing, you will get paid a minimum income, and maybe your employer might choose to top that up a bit with some more money. Maybe they won't. But one thing is for sure, you probably won't have an employer. So you'll be reliant 100% on a government payout. And they've got you exactly where they want you. Welcome to the future economy. This is the way things are going. You won't work, you'll get paid, but it won't be enough for you to do very much. Well, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share it, of course. Thank you very much.